Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing my favorite deck overall in Legacy right now, my blue-black control deck, which has a ton of creatures, and it's got all the best creatures in Legacy. Nethergoyf, which is usually just a giant wall early on, but can be turned into an offensive threat if we're up against like a combo deck. We've got Orcish Bowmasters, which needs no introduction. Baleful Strix, which I like to say, prepaying your removal. Eventually, they're going to have to deal with it, or their Murktide will never be able to attack you. Barragoyf, which is just an insane kind of game-ending threat that also gains you life, which is very helpful when you're playing a bunch of Snuff-Outs in your deck. And Mockingbird, which can copy any of those and can just come out as a 1/1 flyer for 1 if you need to. Turn on Kaito, which is our other top-end threat in addition to Barragoyf. So this is a very simple deck. We also have Tamiyo, of course. Unfortunately, you just kind of have to play 4 of her because she's so broken. And we have a heavy mana base of basics. There's like basically just 2 non-basics. I said basic way too many times in that sentence in the entire deck. And these are really just there in case we draw this Causing Tarn and we absolutely need to get access to black, for example. So this is a no reserve list deck. You could absolutely take the Watery Grave out and swap it for an Underground Sea if you have it, but you don't necessarily need to play more duels than that because it's really designed to have 1 of each color pip in the mana values, or colorless in the case of like Bowmaster and Barragoyf. So generally you just need 1 swamp, 1 island, and you're good for the rest of the game. And because they're usually basics, you don't even have to worry about opposing Wastelands. And it also means you get to play the mighty haymaker of an enchantment, Back to Basics, which can potentially just completely screw your opponent from out of nowhere, or if they're on a big mana deck, this is the best thing you can be doing. In the sideboard, we've got 3 Consigns for big mana. We've got 2 Hydroblasts, mainly for the Ocelot Pride deck, which is very strong right now. We've got 3 Force of Negations for combo. We've got 3 Thoughtseize for combo. I've also moved the Thoughtseize to the sideboard. I just found that they weren't good against the aggro-heavy meta, and I think they're more of a sideboard card right now. And I have put a couple Nile Spellbombs in here just so we have something to mulligan to in case we're up against Oops All Spells. This is basically the best thing you can be doing outside of Leyline of the Void if you want to be able to stop Oops All Spells. One key card that's in here that's probably going to come in a lot is Toxic Deluge. This is overperformed for me. Get your Toxic Deluges. I got mine retro border for like, I don't know, like $5 or $6 each, and I've already cast them a lot. They're very good. I'll see you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against Kilroy which is a reference to the Yes album. Or I'm sorry, not Yes. What's the band? Styx. Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. If you've heard that song, it's from that album. Kilroy's like the character in the it's kind of like a rock opera type thing. Very cool. So this is an Island Ponder Keep in my humble opinion. We got double force in case we're on combo. Prismatic Vista. Love it. Ponder. Okay, cool. So they're a basic gamer like me. We just want to play our spells. We don't want to be harassed with Wastelands. We want to do the harassing with Back to Basics. Unfortunately, Back to Basics is almost certainly going to get pitched here. The fact that I have a Brainstorm and a Ponder is nice, because if I find another fetch, I can potentially shuffle this away. Opponent's most likely a fair gamer, but they could be on like Omnitel. Okay, we drew the second land. We don't even need a Ponder here. I mean, we don't really know what we're up against. We could just take it slow. I think I'm here for that. And now I'm not preserving the ability. I am preserving the ability to Brainstorm, but not to fetch Surveil. And like, I think I probably should have just, played this out just in case I wanted to Surveil. I probably won't want to. Storm Chaser Talent. Okay, they could be on like a mono blue. I'm not going to counter that. Like mono blue tempo build. Like I was playing that a few months ago with Boomerang Basics and stuff. It's pretty good. Barragoyf is going to be very good against that. So I think most likely we just want to ensure that Barragoyf resolves, and it's going to maybe have to resolve through days. All right. Well, I'm just going to keep stamping out lands here. And I have Brainstorm Shuffle here. I don't feel like I need to move. This is not like a game-ending threat at this point. And we want to stop, like, I'm not sure what I would force here. Just attacking for 1, no big deal. I mean, I could Brainstorm and just get rid of Back to Basics here. I just have no confidence that it's going to do anything here. Okay. And so we have a Fatal Push. We have land number 3. I think we put back one of these forces and one of these. Yeah, the Back to Basics. Okay. And then, like, I always like to pass to my upkeep just so I have mana untapped in case I need to interact. When I fetch, they may, like, put something on. It doesn't happen often, but it's a good hygienic habit just to have the heuristics that I'm going to fetch in my upkeep. Okay. And now I don't want to play Barragoyf into days. They don't have any pressure. I'm just going to be very patient here. I have Fatal Push. Yeah. I like my position here. If they're playing mono blue, they don't have very good answers to Baragoi if they have cards like Dismember. Okay, they fetch. Planisphere is something to worry about. Okay, blue-black. Interesting. So they may have Fatal Push. I'm still not going to interact on this. I really genuinely believe Fatal Push is going to find a home somewhere else. I'm fine taking a few hits. I'm just going to untap. Now, we do need to worry about Bowmasters, which we drew our own, which is sweet. I think this is probably a situation where we can go ahead and move. They're not going to be able to turn on Fatal Push here. They could have some combination of Stifle, because like this is generally in like tempo type decks, but they haven't Stifled yet. Maybe that was unnecessary for me to fetch. But I've got my double black, double blue. I will keep blue up, because if this resolves, I might want to cast Ponder. Is that true? No, I'm pretty sure I just want to keep up protection. And I will force to protect this, because this is just like an incredible threat. Like this is going to solo. There's no way to make it bigger. Momentum Breaker. I'll let the Prowess trigger happen, and then I'm going to force it. I'll force at this point. Maybe I should have forced back. I couldn't have forced back, unfortunately, because... So if they have a force here, they've got to push through, and I'll lose my berry. Okay, then they do. So that's fine. I don't want to be casting force in this matchup. Interesting. Like, interesting build. I love all the cards they're playing. Huge fan of Momentum Breaker. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to clear this, and I am dropping to 11, so I might actually need to worry about my health at some point. My opponent hasn't been drawing lands. It's possible that like this second Baragoi should stick, unless they have like another Momentum Breaker, which would, really annoy. I mean, like if that's their removal of choice, then having a second, like if I just play out the Bowmaster, we're in really good shape. I don't want to play the Baragoi yet. I'm gonna cast this around Bowmaster. I don't want these cards. I'm looking for like more threats. I'll just Bowmaster, and I can just Bowmaster this now. I'll do that. Yeah, and we'll just take that out while they can't do anything about it. And now we don't have that boot to our neck. We got Fatal Pushes for days, and we've got our Baragoi. Hopefully they don't rip like a Thoughtseize, because that shreds our entire... What? 3 colors! So I imagine Staff of the Storytellers in this deck. So it's just like Value City, basically, is where they're taking themselves. Ooh! The Spice. That is very cool. What my opponent is doing is very cool over there. I approve very much. I'd like to try this. I don't think that it can work in 3-color with all these basics. They probably have some duels in there, though. Okay. Well, I will sacrifice this. Right. I mean, like, they've got me in the abyss, basically. That's very powerful. I need another Bowmaster. Let's brainstorm and find a Bowmaster. Back to basics isn't going to cut it. Oh, man, this is terrible. I can get Baragoi out, and it can get one connection and maybe draw into another. I think that's the line, sadly. I do need to clear at least one of these. But if they just have like Momentum Breaker from hand in addition to this, I'm so screwed. I'll attack for 1. But this is going to like come in as another copy of Momentum Breaker. I'm going to have to sack the Bowmaster. This will become a 4/5. They could also make a body and then just chump for a turn. Nowhere to run. Okay, so they're doing this with the Momentum Breaker. Yeah, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to concede. They got me. Now I know what they're up to, though. Very cool. Very cool enchantment-centric deck. Here, I think Thoughtseize does make sense, because we're going to want to get that Estrid's Invocation out of their hand. I'm not sure that Snuff Out does a lot here, especially if they're pressuring our life total. Belful Strix is great. Tomio is great. Fatal Push. Netherwolf can come back from the grave, which is nice. It could be that we want more Force Negations. That doesn't sound good, but we can cast them out from hand. I'm going to take my Back to Basics out. They may have some non-basics in there, but I didn't see any, and I just don't want to risk it. Like, this is really just for like 12 post type matchups and lands and things like that. And occasionally like the big, 4-color Beanstalk type player. Toxic Deluge, like they might have some more enchantments that create creatures. I think we just bring in a Force Negation and we'll leave it there. This hand has both our colors, and I can't neglect that. In fact, I'll just open with a Thoughtseize here. Take their best card. But like no threats. Like this is like if they have Estrid's Invocation, they're definitely like a bigger deck than me in the sense that, oh wow, they have 2 of them. What is this? Form of the Dragon. How do they get this into play? This is an insane card. I love this card. I wish the art were rendering. Sphere of Safety. Creatures can't attack. or planeswalkers you control unless they're... Okay, well, I think if we just take this doesn't have anything to copy. This is their best card. Like, man, they only have one freaking land. I'm going to take this and just mana screw them. Yeah. Okay. One land. That's a greedy keep, frankly, with that curve. I just noticed they were a Yorion deck. I'm a bad player. I should have noticed that like the previous. All right, Nethergoyf's good. So I think I just want to ponder here and then probably Nethergoyf. These are lands. We can copy Nethergoyf. I don't want this. These are totally fine. I'll actually take... I like the Mockingbird now. So I have double force up. I can't imagine I'll need it, but like just in case they have some crazy like show and tell for enchantments. Like each player puts an enchantment into play. Can you imagine how broken that would be? Form of the Dragon. There's that art. So iconic. Just the dragon emerging from the portal. Just like, the last gasp of the mage. Oh, wow. They've got Wasteland as their land. Yeah, you can go for Momentum Breaker. I'll actually force Momentum Breaker. Can be the target. Okay. Interesting. Well, I'm just going to beat them down with Mockingbird here. I'm drawing a land. I don't want to bring my dude back. I want to have something to copy. Because, like, I think pressuring them is the best thing we can do right now. They do have Momentum Breaker. So that was their draw for turn. But now I'm going to have 2 creatures. All right. So I got 2 Goyfs. Swinging for 3. Nothing for them to waste. As should always be the case. Unless we get absolutely desperate and have to fetch one of our non-basics. Interesting that they're playing Watering Grave. So they've intentionally chosen to limit themselves, which I applaud. Okay, so this is going to stick, unfortunately. Oh, man, they can Esper Invocation me next turn and then put me back in the Abyss. Am I going to lose to this deck? To this crazy brew that has, like, where they kept a one-lander? Hopefully not. So this lets this die. This comes 4/5, and then I bring it back as soon as I get a chance. I have to let that go. At least this flies. Okay, so I need to fetch in my upkeep so I don't draw chaff. Like I think it was like another land or something. So we'll get a second blue source. Blue card would be good. Okay, Fatal Push doesn't help us. We can't bring back Nethergoyf. I'm just going to swing for 4 and just, frankly, just hope that they don't draw a land. Like they've Miracle top deck land twice in a row. If they draw a land, then Esper's Invocation is online and we're back in the Abyss. That's fine. So that's not even a blocker. I have it. All I need to do is draw a blue card, and then I can attack them twice, but it won't be enough. I need a little more than just that. Gosh, deck, come on. My opponent's going to draw a land, and I'm going to lose. I don't have a meaningful way to interact with Esper's Invocation targeting this Momentum Breaker. My deck can't handle enchantments, and I'm just shy of being able to hardcast this force. I feel like this is like one of those matchups, now that I know what to expect, like I think I could probably win like 70% of the time. But without knowing that, it's tough when you don't know what they're capable of. Please don't draw the land. Brainstorm. Okay, well, that means that they're going to have to cast something else. My deck does... Like, this is a situation where like people are always like, you got 26 blue cards. You got 28 blue cards. How many blue cards do you need? As many as possible. That is my answer to you. Like, your deck can... Yeah, and they have Esper's Invocation, so they are going to escape death here. Not attacking. All right. We need something special. Like a force actually does it because it keeps Esper. Yeah, that works. So I'll just force, and hopefully they won't have a force of their own, and then they'll be dead. Of course, I could just play this Tomio out, and then when they Esper Invocation, but I just don't want Esper Invocation to hit the table at all if I can avoid it. They're at 2. They can fetch. But if they force back, they'll be at 1, and then, yeah, they can't fetch after that. So... I don't think they can force back because they're going to have to fetch to be able to cast Esper's Invocation. They could have like some... No, I can't think of what else they would have here that would be relevant. They fetch 1. A plow would obviously be good. I'll just push this. They can attack, but they... Yeah. Now here's Estrids, and I just force this, and then the game's over. Unless they have like Misdirection or some other free... Good. Wow. That was freaking by the skin of our teeth here. All right. It should not have been that close. Now that I saw Felia, it does make me feel a little bit better about keeping the Fatal Pushes in. I mean, they're not... They are kind of pressuring our lifestyle. Like, I could imagine a situation where they get a bunch of otters out, but they could also have Bowmasters in the deck, for sure. So I like Fatal Push more than Snuff out here. I don't think I want to make any other changes. I'm just terrified of the freaking Abyss. Like the Abyss, if you're unfamiliar with the card from, like, I think it's Legends, every upkeep, like, target player sacrifices a creature. Like, being able to make somebody sacrifice a creature every single turn is extremely powerful. We have to beat them on the draw, and, you know, they're probably going to not have a one-lander this time. They got extremely lucky. Like, frankly, you shouldn't keep one-landers. I'm probably going to have to keep a one-lander here, but maybe an Island Ponder keep, right? Actually, they did keep Island Ponder keep, and I took their Ponder. Yeah, this is fine. Because I've got double Thoughtseize, and I'm going to take a lot of damage early on, but I'm going to establish myself. They mulled to 6. I think just Thoughtseizing them repeatedly will be good. It looks like they have a lot of high curve stuff that won't necessarily be relevant if I can end the game quickly enough. And that's why Nethergoyf was a big addition to the deck. Like, that game was brought to us by Nethergoyf. All right, Mockingbird's great because it can turn on Kaito if I need to next turn. I can play that out. I just want to make sure that we're not facing Bowmasters over there. They're fetching. They're probably going to have cast a Brainstorm and hide something. That is indeed what they're doing. I will not be salty if I lose to this awesome brew. Okay, so let's take a look. There are a lot of cards you may not know here. I don't know this Spark Rupture. Draw a card. Each Planeswalker with one or more loyalty counters loses all abilities and is a creature with power and toughness equal to the number of loyalty counters on it. Very cool. That is very relevant against our Kaito hand. I'm actually not sure how that works because does he just remain a creature all the time? Huh. Okay, nowhere to run. We've seen this. This is pretty good against our deck. Omen of the Sea is not a big deal. Shield's Edict is not an enchantment. It's a one-shot. And what I'm really afraid of is them, you know, using their enchantments more than once. Shield's Edict does kill one of our creatures. Huh. This has flash? This is a pretty cool card. I like it. Yeah, thematically I like it. Omen of the Sea is just, yeah, they hid something over there. I think next turn is Mockingbird and then Thoughtseize them again. I think I take this. Yeah, I'm going to take this just because this is a clean answer to my Mockingbird. And then I'll deal with Spark Rupture. They have one land in hand, but they may have another. Let's pass. And again, the reason I took Nowhere to Run rather than Shield's Edict is Shield's Edict's a one-shot. I'll Thoughtseize. Next turn, I'll take the Shield's Edict, then I'll play a Mockingbird, probably. Unless I draw something fantastic. Actually, I need to get the Undercity Sewers out next turn, unfortunately. So I think it's just going to be Undercity Sewers, and then I'll try to go for Uncle Barry. Oh, such a good draw. All right, well, let's go ahead and do this first and see what we draw. Or what we're not going to draw, hopefully. We can put something away. Actually, 1, 2, 3. Just in case, they do have Wasteland in their deck. I don't hate this with the sheer volume of... Yeah, I think I'd be really sad if they wasted me. And this Omen of the Sea has flash, so they could flash it in. Enchantment is flash. Something it does not feel what Garfield intended, but I'm so here for it. I love flash and interactivity. Like my favorite creature, Snapcaster, RIP. Power crept out of the format. Ooh. Okay, that's what you were hiding, huh? Right. Well, I think... I mean, I could actually Mockingbird copy that, but it wouldn't be very good because I wouldn't be able to attack with it. Omen of the Sea gives them essentially like recurring scry. We don't know whether they have a land number 3 they shuffled there. If we take this out, that Feldia does not have a value engine. She can't grow. It seems weird to take that when they have a Shield's Edict and you have a Baragoyf in your hand. I think I just let them have the value, frankly. Yeah, Shield's Edict is just too good against what I'm doing over here. They chose really cool snow basics too. This looks like it's on a different planet. Omen of the Sea. So they're going to be able to do this. And then it's like when it... So they get to... Wait, they get to scry and draw a card? Oh no, I didn't realize they got to draw it too. I thought that was part of the sacrifice. I should have read closer. So they get to scry again if they do that. Yeah, so they are going to get an extra card here. So this is like... Bowmasters would be insane here if I can find it. I've got a land coming, so... Doesn't really help. Like, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to hard cast Kaito, and I'm going to stun. Hopefully they don't find a land here, because if they find a land, then they can play Spark Rupture, and then my Kaito will permanently be a 2/2. That'll suck. Okay, so they've drawn 2 cards. Did they find a land? I bet you they did. Oh, wow. Okay, well. Oh, no, I can't stun because I only have 2 mana. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself here. So, they have Spark Rupture, Shield's Edict. They can just blink out. Man, I think we're going to lose, unfortunately. is how I'm rating this. So they have Spark Rupture and 3 unknown in hand. Let's go get an island and I'll bury. And we're not in a good position because they're drawing an extra card every turn. All they need to do is find a plow for this, and this is gone, or one of their many enchantments. But Nowhere to Run can't stop it. It has to be like Start Your Engines guy, Momentum Breaker. But they can't draw a card if they want to blink this out and still attack. What? That's brutal. Okay, well, Barragoyf is not going to do anything this game other than get Kaito on the table. So I bet you they're going to leave themselves vulnerable to Kaito coming in. Looks like they are. I think the odds of us winning are very low here. Death Touch doesn't matter when you don't do any damage. Okay, this comes back. They get yet another card. I think what we need, the way we win here is we just draw a whole bunch of... yeah, they get the card in the end step. So even if they have a land, they're not going to be able to play Spark Rupture, but they were tapped out anyway. Okay. So, all right. Just another land. Well, I'm going to go ahead and Kaito. And then if I mock this, I can blink Rest in Peace out, but that doesn't affect anything because the cards are gone forever. Yeah, I'll play this out and I can fetch like a shock out of my deck so I don't have to. I mean, they may be playing back to basics, but I can't imagine that being in right now. I'll just bring this back to my hand and maybe I can brainstorm it away. It'll never be good. You know what? There's a decent chance that if I zero, I can just find the... I shouldn't have tapped the way I did because I could have played... Let's say hypothetically, like they can just attack and kill Kaito if I zero. But if I find a Brainstorm, it's really good because I can put away these dead Barragoyfs. If I find a Fatal Push, of which I have 4, I feel like that's better than just stunning. But if I stun, then they play Spark Rupture, then this is just a 2-2 for the rest of the game. But that's not the end of the world. Let me read the text. And they get to draw a card. Man, I really need to find my Bowmasters. I think finding my Bowmasters and losing this in combat, like Bowmasters will be pretty good here. The odds of me finding... See, if I stun this, then I can Mockingbird copy this. I think that's probably the safer thing to do. And even if I'm not able, like at least this will come back as a 4-4 instead of a 2-2 here after they cast the Spark Rupture. And they have to prioritize Spark Rupture. They have lots of other things they could be doing here. There's another basic. Still haven't seen a single non-basic other than a Wasteland from them. Okay, so this is a 2-2 now. Okay, that is... a 0-1. That's terrible. Oh wait, it still has abilities because it's a creature. How freaking brutal is that? Wow. That is a rule interaction that is extremely favorable for us. So I think here we just plus and we attack for 4, and then we can mock copying that. I could redeploy a Barragoyf just as a blocker. I don't hate that. But I do think we want to plus here because we definitely want to keep this alive and we want to be able to stun again. And my opponent's probably like, what's going on? Why is this still so powerful? Well, apparently Spark Rupture is not good against Kaito. That's all I have to say. I'm going to go ahead and fetch some chaff out of my deck. I guess I might as well play the Nethergoyf instead of the Barragoyf. They have the same stats at this point. That way, if they have soft permission, I can avoid it. And then I'll play this out as a blocker to protect my Planeswalker, which isn't even a Planeswalker and can't be attacked. Man, if I'm able to win just because Kaito is like somehow immune to this card, it will be a coup. Nowhere to Run. What is this? Probably targeting my Kaito? Yeah, that makes sense. All right, and they can Yorion in like a turn cycle. It's pretty scary. Half my deck is like basically meaningless. Bowmasters, please. I would really like to have a Bowmasters or Brainstorm. Fatal Push is good. I'll just blink this. I'll hold up Fatal Push just in case they have like... I don't want to Fatal Push and then have them jump that. Yeah. So blink this here. I'm going to go ahead and force before they get Heartcast up. Maybe I do that during... I mean, they might be able to force negation too. I think it's safer to just go ahead and kill this now. I'll wait till my guy comes back and I'll set a stop. That way, if they have like a Shield or Zedic type effect, they don't necessarily think to do it right now. Wait, I could just play out a second here. And I know these creatures suck. They do nothing. But like they chill and they're dumb blockers. So now my dude comes back, gets buffed. And we're going to do this. Your dog. Old Yeller. Okay. They have done a masterful job of negating my deck's entire game plan. This is really interesting. So I can fetch the remaining surveil, or the, not surveil, but the other card from my deck. All right. Yep, that's probably death, unfortunately. They have the second dog. I figured that was a possibility here. They can blink my dog, and it'll just come back as a Mockingbird, which is not going to pose much of a threat to them. Like, we really had to draw Kaito number 2. They could actually just blink nowhere to run and then target it. That's probably better. And then I don't have a creature at all. That's what they're doing. Take the 2. I'm not worried about my life total. And then this comes back, and it's bigger. Hopeless Nightmare. When this enchantment enters, each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life. Well, that's pretty good. And then they can sacrifice it for another ability. So it's probably in the same cycle as the other one. Now I'm at 5. Okay. So now my life total does matter. And then this re-enters. And yeah, we were getting completely destroyed there. I'm going to see what we would have drawn, but there was no way we were getting back into it. Like, even a Kaito wouldn't have gotten us out of that. Yeah, we weren't drawing anything that was going to save us. Cool deck. I definitely want to play that on my channel, but I don't like the 3 color. If you're going to have a basic heavy, I think my opponent got pretty lucky there, frankly, with their lands. I wouldn't expect that, especially with like a Yorion build. Like, I probably build a 60 card version, but Yorion is definitely really strong in this type of shell because you can blink all these enchantments and just get like tons of value when they come back in. And of course, Felia is insane. Now, is this nearly as powerful as, say, just playing Quantum Riddler and Overlord of the Balemark? No, definitely not. But it is cool, and I give my opponent props for coolness. Round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent. Even though it looks like this might be a keep with like all those black cards, I just don't think it is. I don't want to risk it. I'll keep an Island Ponder. I won't keep like a Swamp 1 drop. This has the same problem, but it does have a Brainstorm, and I don't want to mull any deeper. My instinct is to put back Nethergoyf, because we can just mock Bowmasters once we get there. Like, the Brainstorm does help a lot. We do get a draw. 19 lands and getting 1-landers, that is not likely. Our opponent mulled to 5, so maybe it's a blessing that we mulled to this double force hand, because maybe they're on oops. I am in the middle of a 3-0 league with Leyline Helm on my other account, my Daybreak account, where I can play with, you know, cards that I don't own, like Helm of Obedience, and yeah, it's very good against oops. Like, that's it's the oops hunter. Okay, this resolves. Wait, you know what? This doesn't resolve. If you're gonna mull to 5 and cast a Once Upon a Time, I am going to read that you don't have anything to do over there. They don't have a land. That was a good call. Now, it could have gone another way, but it didn't. Back to basics is going to almost certainly be the pitch to force here, and then we can brainstorm and find more stuff. Okay, so you're on oops. You're a filthy oops player. No mercy. I've basically just taken the policy that, like, that my opponent did actually say have fun. Like, there's a running joke in the comment section that, like, oops players never say good luck, have fun, because they don't want you to have good luck and they don't care if you have fun. Okay, so this is probably just like a Tomio here, but this player is accepted because they did say have fun back. So I think what we do here, if you're new to Legacy, oops is the boogeyman of the format right now. Nobody likes this deck. Everybody wants it gone, but a bunch of people insist on playing it because it's cheap and easy wins, and you don't have to have a lot of skill to win. I think we could Tomio here, like maybe a little aspirational. I think I just want to find a land and progress our game plan, because this force is not going to hold forever. Let's see if we can find a fetch. That would be ideal. Okay, we found a fetch. So Baragoyf will end the game, but we need more land to do so. I think I put back Baragoyf. And I think I put back this force, or this push. And then end step I can fetch Surveil, and then I have Bowmasters online, and that can at least do some damage. Like, I do think Bowmasters is better just because it gets out earlier, and like it could be some non-determinate amount of time before we find land number 3 with how few lands our deck has been giving us this game. Not that that really matters statistically, but psychologically. Okay, so now they have a lot of mana, and if they had like the Pact or anything, okay, they're playing that tapped. So they're not ready to party, which is good. So Surveil here, we're really just looking for more blue cards, like Force, ideally. I don't actually think I need this. I think I'm just going to try to win with Orc. It'll take a few turns. There we go. Now I think we're probably okay. I can wait till their turn, because I've got double Force. Like, This is going to be like a one-shot mana source. They don't have other sources of black. They need a lot of black to do what they want to do generally. They don't draw cards. Orc is just going to be a 1/1 for the entire game, but it will hit. Oh, man. I need that. I need you to take damage for me. They're playing too conservatively. I like my oops opponents to be reckless. Actually, I usually like them to be conservative, but in this particular situation, I'm worried that they may have like a double packed hand or something. I think at this point, we do play out the Tamio because it's going to be a long game, and she can get us a card draw that helps us stay ahead of their interaction. We actually only have one more force in the entire deck, though. So what are we even drawing to? I don't know. Maybe that was a misplay. I don't think Ponder is going to get us there. We can accelerate the clock. They only have 8 wind spells in their entire deck, plus maybe some reanimates or something. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Now I'm very glad that I played that at the Tamio because this could be a long one. Land number 3 comes out. I'll just attack with this. Actually, I think it might be correct to just back to basics them so they don't have mana for the rest of the game. I shut off my black source, but is that a big deal? I've got double force. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Like, I wouldn't normally do this, but like that's 3 juicy lands that are tapped down forever. Now, and they use a spirit guide, so like it's just like, when are they actually going to... Like, they're not going to race me with just this. I could just double block this and kill it if I need to. I think, like, what usually happens is oops players get impatient, and then the game ends that way. Yeah, and I think that's a questionable play, because now I can apply pressure to them. And they need their life total more than I need mine. So let's just attack all. And then I can probably just snuff this out. Their other creatures are black. These are going to be sideboarded out, these snuff outs. Let's go ahead and draw a card. I wouldn't mind making a land drop. Okay. I mean, do I even want to play that out and do 2 damage to myself? I think I do. Just in case I need black later. Yeah. I'll just pass, and I can snuff out during their turn if I want to. Yeah, I'm just going to snuff it. And with it, any hope they have of beating me down. So I would like to have a second blue card in hand, but I'm almost certainly going to find one this turn cycle. Brainstorm is pretty nice because I can just flip Tamio. Let's attack first, and then I'll brainstorm. Again, like, it may seem silly, like, who cares? You're so far ahead. Like, why are you even like narrating anymore? But sometimes you do have to do garbage time stuff against them. Okay, so this is pretty easy. I want the double force. I'll just draw this. No, wait, if I Prismatic Vista, I won't necessarily draw a second blue card. I just want to be super careful. Like, the game is mine to lose. So I'll keep a double force hand. And the reason I'm doing it, I don't want to tap this. I already invested 2 life into it. Like, it might be useful later. We'll pass here with double force up, and Tamio can regrow a force, and then we're just like super duper favored. I mean, not that we weren't already favored, but back to basics, taking out 3 of their lands. Like, one of the reasons I like this card is it's basically Wasteland that comes out later, but it's like more definitive, if that makes sense. Okay, so this, they shock that in, reducing their life force further. 2 mana, what is this? Undercity Informer. Well, how many packs do you have? I would be embarrassed to lose this game. Pact resolves. Now let's try this again. So you're dead to your pact. All right, we got it. All right, beating oops on the play? No, we beat oops on the draw. That's great. Okay, so Thoughtseize comes in. Now Spellbomb comes in. I think Consign comes in. Cards that don't really matter. Orcish Bowmasters doesn't matter. Nethergoyf is okay because it can apply meaningful pressure early on. Fatal Push usually doesn't matter. Especially because we already have Baleful Strix, which can deal with like their, big threat that they play out anyway. Snuff Out can come out, and then we need to make one more cut. I think Barragoyf is actually pretty mediocre here. It's actually like, it's kind of scary because sometimes they'll Thoughtseize it and then reanimate it, and then you'll be fighting your own Barragoyf. So I don't want to face that, which means I think I just bring in a couple more Bowmasters. This could take it the Bogart Bog or whatever his name is, Bogart Trawler. Think, yeah, just a couple more ways to end and to enable Kaito is fine. The best card in our deck, other than the force effects, is probably Orcish Bowmasters. I'll keep back to basics and just because it's blue. I don't expect to be able to disrupt them like we did there. This is a no-lander. And oops basically forces you to mull to force. The best hand on the draw is like a force and a Nile Spellbomb hand. Or a force and a Thoughtseize. Then you just force their Dark Ritual or whatever. This is a snap. Would be a snap keep. I'm not going to trust that they're going to give us a turn. I'm going to find a force. All right, now we don't really have a choice. I'm going to keep this, and we're just going to die, sadly. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I'm going to keep the interaction cards. I'll keep Strix. No, I'm not going to keep Kaito. I don't think I have the luxury of keeping Strix, frankly. This may look like, okay, you're dead. Like, what did you just do? You mold to nothing. And believe me, this is like beating Oops on the draw is very difficult, even for a Force of Will deck. So if I seem like I'm too vociferous in my justification for playing this way, just take my word for it. Like, I played against Oops hundreds of times. And yeah, so they have Chancellor of the Annex. So the good news is we might be able to force something and then force the other thing. So if we force this, that pops the Chancellor bubble. And then our other force will actually hit them. We don't have a way to pop the Chancellor bubble. I'm going to go ahead and force this. But like Force of Will is way better than Force of Negation. Yeah, unfortunately that works. So they're going to put Chancellor under here. And if they have more than one threat, we're dead. Or if they have more disruption, we're dead. But I figured that was the case. And you'll see, like, they're going to go for it and we would have lost. Because they're going to play a creature here. And you can't Force Negation a creature. They have to have a pact on top of this creature. Come on, be the 4-mana guy that taps your Lotus Petal as well. Yeah. All right, is your last card Pact. Okay, double protected, turn 1. Let's take a look at their deck. So, like, I just want to say, like, none of the previous hands I looked at would have stood a chance against that. We would have just died. So, any naysayers in the comments, you can stop typing. All right, let's take a look here. It was worth a chance. They would have been hellbent with two permanents, and we would have been completely hellbent, but we had a draw. So they're 0 cards in hand. They had to use the entire proverbial buffalo there. And I can say that because buffaloes are no longer extinct. Or no longer extinct. They're no longer endangered. They've been cultivated back to healthy productivity. I say that as somebody who grew up in the Southwest. I'm very proud of that fact that buffaloes were nearly hunted to extinction and gradually brought back through responsible stewardship. Okay. I've actually had buffalo burgers. They taste like a regular burger, frankly. There's nothing special about them. But if you go to Oklahoma City, you can have them there. Okay, so, and if you go into Oklahoma City, hit up the Land Run. This is an unsponsored shout out to the Oklahoma Land Run. Great tournament put on by Games HQ in Oklahoma City. So they are playing Reanimate. So that's like kind of their juke. I don't see Baragoi for anything in here. How many Reanimates are they playing? I'm only counting 1, and they only have 2 Chancellor of the Annex. Okay, so we can concede here. I don't need to see them do the little dog and pony show here that pretends to be Magic the Gathering. Okay, no changes. I like our deck a lot in this situation. So that hand where we had double Nile Spell, it was so tempting to keep that, but of course they turn 1 us, so that wouldn't have mattered, right? But if you do get a Nile Spell on the table, it's going to be good. Now, they can test your Nile Spell with the Reanimate if they find it. So it's kind of like the way of thinking of their deck is there 9 I win the game spells total. I didn't see Belcher. I don't imagine their sideboard's going to change a lot this time around. They'll probably take out the, what's her name? Chancellor of the Annex. I wish I was against them with my Oops Hunter deck. This would be a very short match. I just molded a Leyline game 1, then molded a Leyline game 2, and if there's a game 3, I'd mold that too. And Leyline of the Void, absolutely the best card if you just want to shut down Oops. And it is worth molding to it. I've molded like 2 and still won against Oops before. But it's important to note that they're not bringing in Baragoi for anything like that. So like Fatal Push is not a necessary sideboard card. I think even if they do get creatures out, Nethergoyf and Baleful Strix should be able to best them. I'm almost kind of tempted to bring in the Hydroblast just to have additional blue density instead of these Bowmasters, which are so slow. And so, yeah, I'm going to actually do that. That seems extreme, but like, let's just have our entire deck be blue, basically, other than these 2 very impactful cards. If we draw Kaito, like realistically, it doesn't really matter how quickly we get Kaito on the table if we're going to finish with him. Every turn is them drawing an extra like Spirit Guide or Mox or potentially a Reanimate. So you don't want to give him too many turns. But Nethergoyf's very good at just ending the game quickly. And again, I want to shout out Nethergoyf because like a lot of people have stopped playing Nethergoyf and I think they're sleeping on him. He's so good against combo because he just comes down and he just keeps hitting every turn for 1 mana. It's a small investment on a win con. All right, this is not bad, not bad. Now, Force Negation, as you know, does not stop. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to play this Watery Grave untapped, and then I can brainstorm. I don't want to tap out of consign. So what I can do is I can consign, like if they do the thing with the guy. Do they have Thoughtseize? I didn't see Thoughtseize, but they're probably playing Thoughtseize in addition to Pact. Okay, they're mulling to 5. But like consign plus, so I can consign the trigger, and then they're going to pact my consign, and then I'm going to force the pact, and then they'll just be stuck with the creature on the table. And then I'll have plenty of turns to figure out how to win against a 2/3 flyer. And by that point, I'll have one. I'll really just have like maybe 2 types in the yard. I'm mulling to 5. So Tony Scaponi pointed out that like they can't do a protective win turn 1 on 4 cards, but on 5 they can still have a protected turn 1. And like Oops should probably always mill to turn 1 win. It kind of sucks that this is going to be the pitch to force negation, though. It doesn't really matter. I'll play it out, and then I'm just going to be super disciplined here with because it would suck to lose because I didn't have the mana for consign. Like getting Netherglyph online is not the priority here. And if they give me an extra turn, I'm not going to pact that or consign that. I'm going to pact anything. I don't play pact. I'm going to let this go. Wow, that's a lot of mana. So, unfortunately, if right now they have the guy, if they have the guy that you play and then you activate instead, then I just lose. If I force here, they're 2 cards in. I still have Brainstorm to potentially find another force effect, but they'll have nothing in play. I think this is worth doing. If they pact here, they may not be able to win because I don't think they're going to do anything with 2 mana. Do they have the Spirit Guide? They may be able to Spirit Guide and then play the guy. Therapy's fine. They're therapying me because they don't have the win anymore, and they just want to see my hand. They may name Force here. Yeah, they name Force of Will. Last mana. They scooped. Got it. Bye-bye. I want you to know that I woke up today, and instead of eating my normal Greek yogurt and grape nuts, I ate milk and cookies, and it was delicious. And so if I seem like I'm in a better than average mood, that's why. So we're up against Magic Ads, who is most likely on the Epic Storm. Not to be confused with Magic Dads, who may very well be the same person. I'm not sure. We do have Force Blue card hand. We got Bowmasters. I don't think we throw away a Force Blue card hand, especially because this Scalding Tarn does probably represent mana that we can keep on the table the entire time. Like, I don't think they're going to waste us. These double Barraglyphs is super awkward. I would love to brainstorm this away if I draw a blue card. I just need to be sure that I have Force up at all times here. LED, sure. Okay, they're going to try to take us for a spin. Going to take for a ride. Are we going to get a concession? No, they're not going to concede. Okay, but they were on Epic Storm and they did just, Thoughtseize them or Mind Twist themselves. And if you want to see some Mind Twist action again, oh, that's a great rip. Yeah. Again, if you want to see some Mind Twist action, check out my recent video where I go hunting for Oops All Spells with Helm combo because it has Ill-Gotten Gains in the deck, and Ill-Gotten Gains is a Thoughtseize, or it's like a Mind Twist your entire hand and I'll draw 3. That's basically how good it is when you have a leyline out. It's insane. So Force get in the deck, Hydroblast, Consign, we're dumping the entire deck in here, everything basically. I think Nile Spellbomb might actually be reasonable. It might be able to snag something. Okay, let's talk about what we're taking out. So Netherglyph is way better. Baleful Strix is blue. Okay, so I'm definitely taking out all my creature removal. Now, you might be like, well, what about that one card? Well, we do have Hydroblast for it. I'm going to take out Back to Basic. I want a high blue count. Maybe I don't want the Nile Spellbomb. It can deal with the dragon, but I'll take out Barraglyph. This is pretty similar to the Oops, but I actually like the Epic Storm. I think it's a good deck to have in the format because it's interesting. It doesn't always just YOLO a turn 1 like that did, but my opponent got a little feisty and said, make him have it, and I had it. I don't even mind Necrodominus that much. It's just that Oops is like a literal 1-card combo. That's why I dislike it so much, if you're wondering. What's the difference? Well, play against Oops a whole bunch and then play against the Epic Storm, and you'll see that Oops is frustrating because there's just so many games where you have 0 agency. But against the Epic Storm, there are lots of ways you can disrupt them. And Oops, I don't mind losing to Epic Storm because Epic Storm is an extremely difficult deck to pilot, whereas Oops is like a brain dead deck to pilot that I could teach my 8-year-old son how to pilot, and he could go have a positive win rate on MTGO. I'm not exaggerating. I genuinely believe that's the case. He doesn't even really like Magic that much, but I bet you if I gave him some money, he'd do it. He said, my opponent said, damn, no bird. Not today. Okay. Any other changes we want to make? I mean, like, Bowmaster is actually reasonable against them. Again, Baleful Strix is marginal. Maybe I don't need Nethergoyf. I mean, it does end them faster, but, like, it is not blue. Baleful Strix just feels really jank, though. Like, other than the fact that it's blue, it's a win con. What other win cons do we have? I mean, Kaito is a good win con. I like Nethergoyf just because he's like comes out and starts doing damage, but maybe I can trim these. I don't want to trim. Yeah, I don't want to trim blue cards because I'm playing like a bunch of force negations too. So 7 force effects from my side of the table. My deck is very... Whoa, this is a good hand. My deck is very good against their deck. Like, they don't want to be playing against my deck. It's not as good as like Blue-Black Tempo is because they also have Days and Wasteland, but it's still pretty good. I'll just do a Confident Keep. Thoughtseize is extremely good against them. Hydroblast is good. We don't have a blue card, which sucks, but like you can't have everything. Like a Swamp, Thoughtseize with Force backup, like that's pretty close, and there's a decent chance we'll get willed anyway. Draw Strix. This is the problem with, like, if I were playing Blue-Black Tempo, I would never draw 2 Swamps in a row. I'm going to force this. I don't want them to draw a card. Oh, wait, what's this? They're going to Brainstorm? You know what? I'm actually going to stop this because I want to take their key card. This may seem like an extreme action of a madman. I want to do it. Their key card is Gamble. The Gamble... Burning Wish can get stuff that doesn't immediately matter. I just need to buy time. Unfortunately, like I'm unlikely to stop Burning Wish in time. They can cast it next turn. But like Brainstorm actually... Yeah, they're only 1 mana away from actually doing the thing. I think I'm going to let them have the Brainstorm and get the Shuffle. Okay. And they actually have that card in exile, I think. They like in their sideboard. I think they play a second one. I'm not sure about that play. If you strongly disagree with the force there, this is not like the kind of matchup where they're protecting like one really good card. They're protecting lots of good cards over there. So maybe it was totally a mistake to force there because now I don't have any protection because Hydroblast isn't castable. Hydroblast normally being extremely good against their deck. So it looks like they're going to do the Brainstorm thing rather than the Burning Wish. They might still cast Burning Wish. They might just shuffle this away. And all they need is a Gamble, an LED, and then we're going to get a new hand. And getting a new hand is not the end because we do have a whole lot of interaction. Like we've got the 7 forces. I think the best draw would just be an island here so I can get Hydroblast up. Come on, island. Oh, no. Well, we're not doing anything here. Yeah, we're probably dead. And I think it was probably over eager of me to force. But like, they do have Veil in their deck and stuff like that. Force does have an expiration date. Eventually it does get pretty bad. Okay, they're not doing anything. Interesting. Come on, land of island variety. All right, we'll chill. They should by now realize that we don't have blue mana, and that's probably what's happening. They're going to surveil. They can even surveil twice if they'd like. I think our chances of winning this game are like 20% at this point. Like they'd have to brick for several consecutive turns, and they did Brainstorm, and they didn't shuffle away everything, right? Did they? They kept their top card. I imagine they have some sort of interaction spell like a Veil. Or Kaito doesn't do anything. Yeah, this happens, unfortunately. This is the biggest problem with like having a lot of non-islands in your deck, which is why, Blue-Black Tempo, everything's an island except for a single basic Swamp, and then there are 4 Wastelands. But Wasteland is good. Like Wasteland would be pretty good here because we could cut them off an entire family of colors. We could cut them off red-white, for example, if we had Wasteland. Brainstorming. They're looking at 7 cards over there. I think game 3 we're definitely favored though because we get Wasteland or we get Thoughtseize on the play. All right, they're just taking their time sculpting. All right, well I'm going to attempt to do this. They don't have Veil up. Maybe this does something. Okay, Silence. So we just take their Burning Wish and Silence doesn't matter. Immediately we get a few turns. Yeah. And for all they know, we do have Force in our hand because we kept this hand. And why would we force so cavalierly if we didn't have another force? That resolves. So they must have drawn an action spell, unfortunately. Puddle. So they're going to wheel us here, I think. But they may actually just be able to generate enough storm to kill us if they have like a what's it called? Actually, they don't have a bargainable permanent. Okay, they're going to wheel us. Oh, they're going to play Song of Creation. They drew that? All right. Okay, so if we draw a land, we can just Hydroblast that. Come on, land, please, deck, please. Oh! Oh, my goodness. Like, it's not a lock. What a freaking kick in the teeth. All 3 of my swamps? You got to be kidding me, deck. You got to be kidding me. All right, I'm going to play it. There's no reason not to play it. It's one less card that I'll see when I... Yeah, but they're just... If they draw like a Petal or something, the game's just over. Okay, wow. We get another try. Deck, please. Pretty please. Oh, my goodness. All right, well, one more. I mean, like every draw... It's like we're playing Russian roulette here. Which don't ever play Russian roulette, please. Okay, that does... I didn't even see that in our yard. All right, well, they get 2 cards, and then they wheel those out. And then... There's no way that we win at this point, and we drew garbage. We do have the Hydroblast, but like, there's no way that we win. Like silence, anything, and they're just going to keep drawing cards. I'm going to concede. There's no way that we win at this point. We didn't draw a force or anything, and even if we did, it probably wouldn't matter because they're going to have so many cards. All right, deck. You did me dirty, all right? I'm just going to run it back. I like this configuration. We didn't apply any pressure at all, but again, it shouldn't matter. I think game 1 they conceded without us having to present pressure. This is a double force negation hand plus both colors. I'm going to keep this. I'm just going to play out my Delta and I can fetch Surveil. And then we have double force up. They mold a 6. All right. It might make sense to just go ahead and ponder here. Set up our next draws. I think I'm going to do that. This is a situation where that 2 life may leave us vulnerable to a... And then I just shuffle and get, like, don't draw the Undercity Sewers. This is just an absolutely insane sequence here. I'll take this force, just in case they Thoughtseize me and they have something to do. I've got 2 interaction again. Next turn, we Thoughtseize them. We force their Veil. We don't have any sort of pressure. And unfortunately, like, you can do a lot of work, like, shredding their hand and countering their spells, and then they just draw, like, a Haymaker, and they wheel you. That does happen sometimes. Petal. Okay, they're still going. They did it in the second main for some reason. Next artifact does give them Metalcraft, though, so I probably want to stop that. Okay, interesting. So they're cognizant of the fact that I might have a Thoughtseize. Because I do. Do that, and if you'd like to Veil, I will have a word. They are going to attempt to Veil here. Oh, why that? They're going to Brainstorm? Dark Ritual? I'm trying to think of why they would Dark Ritual. What is this? Okay, I'll let the Dark Ritual resolve. Is everything else land? Well, I'm going to leave this in your hand. If this goes in the yard, then unfortunately, it's very scary. If they draw like okay. We'll take the Echo, and then we just have to force that. This is not an instant, so that 3 mana is going to burn off. But they could activate the thing. Like, I'm not dumb. I'm not going to give you a Wheel of Fortune effect that's uncounterable. But unfortunately, like, all this force doesn't matter. And I don't have any way to, like, wipe their graveyard, so that's just going to be a threat for the rest of the game. Now, I actually do need to end the game somehow before they get to 7 cards, because they could just discard it and then wheel. Well, yeah, and if they... Man, what if they draw the freaking Hexing Squelcher? And then they can Echo? That's catastrophic. I do think I'm just going to be patient, though, and I'm going to fetch Surveil rather than Ponder immediately. Okay, they've got a lot of mana. All right, they're going to make their move here. 3 mana. They're going to have to use the Petal. Yeah, let's just... Force Negation can be hard cast, and I think everything in their deck that we want to stop can happen. Like, I'm trying to think if they have any instants that are meaningful. Do this. Because I do believe that, like, being able to hard cast Force Negation repeatedly will be good. They're pretty far from Metalcraft. Their hand is Runehorn, Hellkite, and one other. I'm going to fetch Surveil. Back to Basics would actually be reasonably good here. I actually don't want this. Do I? It doesn't. I'll just keep it. It's better to see 3 cards than 0, right? Or 1. All right, and now let's try to find Nethergoyf or a Bowmaster. I think that's an easy shuffle. Actually, I can just take the land. Yeah, I think that's fine. And then I can fetch. I'm getting low in life to where I'm, like, potentially vulnerable to Storm out. I'm gonna go ahead and Ponder again. There's a Consign. That's quite good. I can't stop the Runehorn Hellkite ability. I think I just take the Consign. Next turn, I can Strix and And then I have a tiny clock. Yeah, that's like pretty weak, but like these are like, I'm pretty confident that if I just shuffle this, I just draw land, which sucks. Okay, so we'll take the consign here, and then we can at least stop like an LED, because LED also ends us. We'd have to force that. Yeah, all right. And like if you play Storm, you have to like sit around. Look at the difference. Well, actually, our clocks are pretty similar, but like you're gonna spend a lot of time just kind of like waiting while your opponent's like, okay, what could they do in this line? Like thinking about all the different lines, all the different possible ways they can get blown out. Okay, they drew a land for turn. They have one unknown. LED. Perfect. Yep. No fun for you, friend. You're going to need to draw 3 more lands if you want to cast this thing. I'm not going to give you a path to getting it in the graveyard. All right, and we're going to do the fun play of Strix. We got a creature. Now we just need a Kaito, and then they're dead in like 4 turns, which is not fast at all, but yeah, I'll take it. All right, I am going to ponder here. Kaito would definitely be good if we can find him. I mean, Hydroblast. I don't want this island. But Hydroblast is worth it because it's potentially stops something. It pitches to force. Tamiyo is really good here, actually. So yeah, I guess I'll take the Hydroblast now. Tamiyo represents a lot of card draw over the rest of the game. It's a win con, but yeah, and I'll draw an island. I'll potentially have Force Negation and Hydro up, but I only need to stop 1 spell this turn. They're going to surveil. So now I do have to force like an LED. They put Beseech in the yard. Okay, they're getting closer to Runehorn Hellkite, which is a 5/5 flyer, but I've got the blocker. Let's draw. Unfortunately, I actually think I just wait a turn on Tamiyo. That may seem weird, but like they're just going to draw some random card, right? Like, and then I have Hardcast Force up so I don't have to pitch, and then I can Tamiyo and have an island up, and I can just play it super slow and super conservative. So actually that island is totally fine. Okay, they don't do anything, so vindicated. All right, Tamiyo's out. We'll attack for our 1 damage, and then we're going to be drawing 2 cards to their 1 card per turn. If they draw that 1 card, I think they can maybe actually cast, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. Song of Creation. That would be a good organic draw that I can shut down. Now I'll just attack, and Nether Goyf's good. If I play him out, then I don't have Hydro. I'll play him out. Come on, I need to get this game over. Like I think we're in an extremely dominant position, but there is still the very small likelihood of us losing. Nether Goyf. All right, so I have Hardcast Force Negation plus, Pitchcast Force Negation plus Clue Crack available in the instep. I think my opponent's probably pretty close to conceding here. If they saw my hand, they would absolutely consider conceding. It's yet another Turn of the Screw. Taming of the Shrew. 5 cards over there. Squelcher is going to die due to Hydroblast, so I'm actually not feeling too in danger here. I'm going to go ahead and do this. See what we draw. Yeah, that's fine. I can Pitchcaster if I need to. I'll go ahead and add to my board here. Now they don't have the out of Hellkite anymore. Like they do have it technically, but they would likely die. They actually don't have green mana represented, which is interesting. Are they not on green? I guess they're just on silence, but that's good for me. Silence is not nearly as good as Veil. All right. If we just play this out, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like they're going to 1. I think I've got like double force and Pyroblast. I can't imagine I lose somehow. And then I could just crack the clue. All right, they're at 1. Good luck. I just can't imagine a sequence in which they could win. But they're going to go for it if they have anything. So I'll force that. Chrome Mox is fine. They put an Echo under it. It's noteworthy that with silence, they can't. I got nothing. GG's. I'll reveal my hand too, which sometimes can be interpreted as kind of like a dick move. Like, yeah, look at how much I had it covered. But it's helpful for Storm players because they need to know kind of like what they're up against. So I want to help them get better at playing Storm. But yeah, it's not a favorable matchup for them for sure. We're 2-1. See you in round 4. All right, round 4. Our opponent's already mulliganed. They're likely a Delver player. Do I want to keep a 1-lander? My deck loves giving me these damn 1-landers. What the heck, deck? Well, this has a Ponder, so like an Island Ponder Keep with a Force. I think it's fine. I am on the draw. The hand's great. Like, this is a great hand against Delver. Mockingbird often will just copy a DRC and trade with their DRC, so it's kind of like removal. And the beauty of copying your opponent's creatures is they're not going to like bolt their own creature just to stop you from copying it. So it's like a little bit more reliable to copy. Yeah, there's the DRC. That's fine. I'll just let it happen. I'm going to attempt to ponder here. I really do need to line up a land, unless I just organically draw a swamp, which... come on, deck. You have to tease me with that land. Like, that's going to get wasted, I'm sure. Actually, is it that big of a deal if it gets wasted? It kind of is a big deal. I'm going to play it, and I'm just going to try to find a swamp. And this gives me another turn where I'm not casting my ponder, just in case. Like, they daze my ponder. That would be really bad. I sadly have to keep that. I don't think throwing away a land at this point is smart. Is it? Let's think about this. So if we keep this land, then that's a draw that is not. But like, we do need to overpower their days at some point. I'm just trying to give you insight into my nuanced thoughts on this, because I do think this is a very meaningful decision. If they waste and then we're on one island and they just daze, and then we lose, they could absolutely daze the ponder. I think the conservative thing to do is to go ahead and keep it, and then just hope that they don't waste. Hope. The greatest strategy of all. Sarcasm. Okay, and they have the Wasteland, so we're Shadow Realm, basically. Yep, Delver on the play is a force to be reckoned with. Unfortunately, our Mockingbird is not going to be able to arrive in time to stop this DRC. But if I can, like... I'm going to draw the land. I'm going to ponder. Hopefully they don't daze it. They absolutely could, because they have the initiative, basically. They just keep coming at me. What? Oh, they skipped their attack. I think they misclicked. Which just happens to me all the time, unfortunately. MTGOs can, they need to add like some like minor undo button or something like that to the MTGO. I know that like people get annoyed, like, what do you keep undoing? But like, it should just be like an undo. Like if nobody's done anything on the stack, this is a shuffle, unfortunately. Then you should be able to like, hey, I didn't mean to like pass through my attack step when my opponent has 0 blockers and I'm an aggro deck. It's ridiculous. I had True Name Nemesis with like a bunch of stuff on it, and I was going to attack my opponent's Tamio. And of course, like MTGO just had like the slightest bit of latency, and okay. And you force here because even if they resolve, at least they're not going to get a dude here. Like they're probably going to daze and blow me out, because of course they're going to have a daze here. They do. And now they have Delirium. But now at least this comes in, and they don't immediately get a monk. So I'm like slightly less dead than I would have been otherwise. And I guess I could have let that resolve first. That was a little bit of a spew, letting them know that I was going to force. But yeah, that like I have very few gripes with MTGO. I think it's pretty good software considering it's 20 years old. Wow, they still don't have Delirium. That's great. But one of my big beefs is, first, you can't sort like their Doomsday pile, which would dramatically improve the ability. I think I do need to brainstorm here, because I just need to clear this somehow. Please don't daze this. Okay, we found this, which is going to get wasted probably. What are we putting back here? Tamio is too slow, frankly. I just need a shock, push, and then we're definitely in trouble. But like this cannot generate any more value. And then we island Baragorf. So what's going back here? I think it is the Tamio. She's just like, but she is pretty good against like the monk army if we flip her. But like, what are the odds we're going to flip her? I don't think they're high. I could copy this. Let's see. I've got sorcery, instant, land. I'm not sure that copying is going to be good enough. I think I just need to go ahead and fetch Fatal Push here. I'm not sure that Mockingbird is even... Well, Mockingbird can copy a Baragorf. That might be the difference maker, having a flying Baragorf. It's also possible that Merc comes out next turn. We're like due for a Merc. They've got enough cards in their graveyard. In which case, Bowmaster doesn't really do anything. Bowmaster can pick off a Monk and produce some blockers, though. I'm going to go out on... Well, I need to Fatal Push. If they daze this, I need to be able to Fatal Push again next turn. But next turn, I'm just going to jam the Berry. I think because Orcish Bowmaster costs a lot of mana, I'm going to put him back. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. But they're almost certainly going to flip Tamio this turn. Or get her Delirious. Let's see. They have instance. Yeah, they're just one type away. Yeah, I think I just want to respect with Fatal Push. Fatal Push can also target one of their monks. And the big difference is it's just like mana. In this matchup, when you're against Delver on the draw, like everything is about mana. The fact that they had that Wasteland was huge, right? Like given the mana that I need, like they are so dead. Like we will definitely win if we can get our land under us, which is why I'm playing tons of basics, by the way. So this is probably... Oh, that worked. All right, good. And I don't think they have a daze because I think they probably would have daze there. So now we just have to deal with these monks. So first turn is Baragoyf, which is bigger than all their removal. They have to force it or daze it. If they daze it, they win the game, but I just have to make them have it. I can't wait around while they're doing monk stuff. I'm at 15, which may seem like a high life total, but then remember that they have 4 bolts in their deck as well. This is a sweet looking island, by the way. I've never seen this island before. It looks beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Wow, they don't have... Wow, we're lucky. Okay. So, yeah, that's great. I'm going to get the swamp. Do I want to wait? Do I want to wait so I don't have to play around days? I'm not going to wait. And I'm not going to sing the Dawson's Creek song either. Apparently that's still in syndication. I go and eat lunch sometimes and there's like a muted Dawson's Creek on the TV. Oh, they had it. Absolutely destroyed. That one Wasteland has just been so impactful. Okay, they're fetching. They're going to surveil here. They have like at least... I think they have 2 lands in hand maybe? So that like it explains why they're not quarrying. Maybe I just got over my skis there. Maybe I just needed to be patient. There's the island, and then they have a Valk too. Sprite Dragon. Love it. That's a cool card, but I am going to push that. I'm not going to let that grow. So my opponent's got the spice over there. And if you're playing this, like you should play one of my favorite cards, Rolling Dragonstorm. All right, that's great. That is fantastic. Okay, check this out. So we're definitely going to drop our giant 4/5. And before they can do anything, we're going to copy our giant 4/5. They don't have the force because they've got a land in hand. They do have the force. What? Okay, well, I think there's no harm in just waiting and letting them maybe cast things into Sprite Dragon. Like if they have cantrip, they have pretty big Sprite Dragon plus this. But like, yeah, I don't know, actually. This has flying, which is the reason why it needs to die. Another Quarry. That is scary, but that's fine. I'll just push. Gosh, if they do have double cantrip, it's so devastating. I'm going to push this. I'm glad they forced, though. Like, now I've got a lot of outs that I'm drawing to. I want to start attacking, but like there is serious risk in attacking here. Not anymore. Holy cow. Good game. That was such a live rip. I don't know if that makes any sense. Live rip. I've never heard that before. I think like I was live to XYZ. So now they just have so much to overcome here. Good game. Yeah, that was just the best possible top deck. We got super lucky there that they flooded out a little bit. I guess they didn't actually totally flood because they did have force blue card there. All right, so this is where I'm really glad I'm not playing main deck. Thoughtseize is really bad. Toxic Deluge is really good against their deck, even though you have to pay live. I'm not sure about Snuff Out against their deck. I'd rather have Hydro. And we're going to need to cut some cards. I kind of like cutting Tamio here because the games are so compressed. Bowmaster can potentially ping off like some of their creatures. It looks like Sprite Dragon is what they're playing instead of, for example, the Boomerang Basics package with Storm Chaser talent. Baleful Strix is worth its weight in gold. Oh, Back to Basics comes out. It's just not what you want to be doing against them. Their deck is so low to the ground, it doesn't really matter if you lock them off. They'll just happily Lotus Petal one of their lands. I don't want to pull out forces just on the draw as a rule. I don't like to pull force against Delver, even though it may seem like totally dead and they have Pyroblast and stuff. I think Nethergoyf is very good here because it comes down early and slows down the Monk Onslaught. I think I'd trim a couple. Let's see, how many blue cards do we even have now? It's pretty low, actually. Kaito is kind of meh, but I think he's still better than Tamio. Yeah, I think I'll just keep it like this. All right. An island and a swamp. I don't ask much, deck. But if you could give me an island and a swamp. Gosh, of course not. Of course I can't have my freaking island and my swamp. I've got to choose. Well, sadly, this hand is so good that I don't think I can throw it back. I just have to grab the island and hope that the ponder shows the land and that they don't have the days. Like, this is just too good of a hand. They mulled a 6. Yeah, brutal. Come on, deck. I've got 19 freaking lands. Let me double check that. 19 freaking lands. It's 4% to get a 1 land or a no lander. And then, I don't know. I'm sorry for my like hysterical sounding voice. And sorry, like hysterical is kind of a sexist word because it means like woman like. Hysteria is one of the greatest albums of all time, though. You won't change my mind about that. Do we want to just Tommy here and distract him? I'm genuinely worried that we just brick on lands and Tommy does nothing. I'm going to ponder. Deck. Come on. 19 lands. All right. Watery Grave. The worst land in our deck. Yeah, let's just draw that. But at least it's a land. They're brainstorming. I think they're mana screwed as well. Okay, not anymore. I do need a Nile Spellbound before Merc gets on the menu. I mean, I have a Strix, but if I force here, I can't force here. I need to save my force for the big thing. I'll just. Oh, thank gosh, goodness gracious. Okay, so I'm gonna fatal push here. That is a lock. Like I just need to do that. I don't want to cast Strix into a daze and then have to take a bunch of damage. I'm just gonna do it. I don't even want to play this if I can brainstorm it back. Like it's just so bad against their deck. And if they daze this, it is totally a win for me. Okay, they didn't daze. So I will force pitching Mockingbird on their thing, but I would love to mock my Baleful Strix. I don't think there's a lot of urgency with Merc as long as Baleful Strix can resolve. Perfect. It's a 1-for-1 when they're like way lower in cards. And they're the tempo deck and I have inevitability. I'd say this is like a 60-40 matchup, even against like an optimal build of like let's say hypothetically I was playing against True Tempo, a very good tempo player who's top aided like a 380 person tournament or something like that in Europe and is a tempo specialist. I still think my deck is probably like 40-60 or 60-40 against them because it's just so, oh yeah, that's great. Great. I'm going to play this tapped. No, I'm not. I will pay the life. I want to keep mana up. No, I don't care. I'll just keep both colors up. Keep them guessing. This is an insane windmill slam bomb against their deck. And then I'll also play this. I'm not going to be forcing. So if they want to, they may have to daze this if they have Merc. But Merc doesn't even matter against my Baleful Strix. I just protect my Strix. They've already used one of their bolts. Okay, I'm not going to do this if they Merc. So be it. I'm going to draw my card for this. Squelcher. Can't interact with that. Okay, so what am I worried about here? I think I just copy, see what I draw. I'm kind of looking for like a brainstorm. I could have Kaito'd there, but I think this is better. So like it's just like, okay, I dare you to attack me. That's pretty good. I think we just take the draw off Spellbomb here. And then we have the mana up to force doesn't matter. Yeah, they could force or daze, and I can't counter it. I shouldn't play this Bowmaster out. I'll attack for 1. I'm worried that they're going to have... maybe I find a push off of this, but like I should wait on the push too, because it's just like I'm worried about daze. I'm going to wait. And then if they go for like a Brainstorm or something, I probably will go ahead and attempt a Bowmaster. Corey, I can't interact, unfortunately. Squelcher is a very powerful card here. Unholy Heat, targeting that. Well, that sucks. I think I might just like ping double block. They may have a daze. They have the daze. Yeah, brutal. And I can't interact. So I'm taking a lot of damage here. All right. I think I have to Kaito and just plus and distract them, basically. Another Kaito. Oh my goodness. What are we doing here? I might Kaito just 0 and try to find a land so I can redeploy. But they can just ignore Kaito and just keep coming at me. Yeah, I'm going to do it. It sucks because I could hang this back, but like I need to be proactive here. I'm going to 0. I'm going to try to find a land or a fatal push. There's the land. This force can go in the yard. All right. I think we're probably doomed, but at least this keeps them from attacking with Squelcher. I don't think they'll kamikaze Squelcher. It just sucks that like this card like completely invalidates like so much of our hand. Kabari. Yeah, you know, I hate to say it, but if they just Merc here, we're dead because they could... Oh, they don't have double blue though. I could get this card. Barry is like insane if we can ever get him on the table. Let's think about this. Yeah, if we hit their yard, I want a card for it. I'm greedy. They need a land. They don't have the mana to equip this. I can stun. Next turn I can attack, stun. Okay, they do have double blue now. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do. If they have the Merc, they just cast it. I don't get priority. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Okay, I lost my land, but I'm going to have a Baragorth next turn, which is my best card against you. You don't have the ability to... Ooh. So we're taking 5 here, and then like a bolt finishes us. Land in hand. They're killing my dude. I love it. Okay, good. If we draw a land, we can Strix and bury. Oh, yes. So first, Barry has to come out. 6-7. Get your kids. Daddy just said 6-7. All right. My kids love it when I say that. Like I think there's like a 6-7 on our license plate, and they're just like 6-7 every time they see. I don't know. I don't know what. I mean, my kids don't even watch TikTok. I don't want to have TikTok. I have a rule: no vertical video in the house. Oh yeah, that was sweet. GG's. Keep jamming the cool kind of like Sprite Dragon. That's cool tech. We're 3-1 after losing to a weird rogue enchantment deck that was very cool. We've just been crushing. What is this? We actually have lands. Unknown opponent. I like this hand a lot. They do sometimes play like Moon Stompy, and that would actually be really tragic. But I've got double Nethergoyf, so I'll keep this and just hope they don't open Blood Moon. That would suck. With this exact hand, like my deck has so many basics in it, but if they just get the turn 1 Blood Moon. Oh, Forest. That's a lush Forest too. Look at that. My opponents have just had the best art today. Okay, so we're up against like Cradle control most likely, which is not a terrible matchup, but not a great one. We're definitely going to lean hard on the Toxic Deluge. I want to play this out. I don't want to play at the Watery Grave, but like I think there's a chance that I want to Brainstorm Shuffle next turn. I don't think our opponent's going to go for our lands. They might. The reason like duels are so important is because like you can do something like Nethergoyf turn 1 and then also have Brainstorm Shuffle on turn 2. And like that's a pattern that comes up all the time. Yeah, I think I'll just take the 2 life. It is probably the correct thing to do. And then I'll play out this 0-1, which can be pinged by a Bowmaster, but for whatever reason, like the Cradle control players almost never play Bowmaster, even though it's the best creature, the best black creature ever printed. I guess it's just not synergistic with their gameplay. But they might be playing it here, which would be very impressive, and I'd be totally fine if they took that out. Because then I'd have advanced knowledge of Bowmasters, which Badger Mole. Okay, I can't interact with that, unfortunately. We're going to lose this game. Like, I don't know why, but my opponents always have, what's it called? Natural Order, and it just destroys me. Another Green Sun. Now they're going to go get the you can't touch my creatures thing. Oh, Elvish Mystic. Interesting. Just like, but like as long as this is on the table, they're going to be able to draw a lot of cards. They didn't attack us though, which is nice. So I need to find a Fatal Push for Badger Mole. Oh, well, I could just draw it. That's pretty sweet. I'm not going to complain about that at all. So let's go ahead and brainstorm here. I'll do the play that I talked about. And then we're just going to push the Badger Mole. I'd love to find a force. I'll put back some lands. Yeah, we have way too many lands this time. Our deck has been very bountiful. I am the control deck. I'm not the aggro deck. I think it'd be a mistake to attack here. The reason I'm taking this out is it just dramatically increases their mana output. Like each of these tap for like 2 mana instead of 1. So we're still dead. They're still going to natural order us. But at least it'll take like all their creatures. I can't stand natural order, man. Like that card, like green just shouldn't have combo. Green should have to play fair if it's got such good creatures. Like Badger Mole Cub is insane. It's ironic they call this deck Cradle Control because it's really just a combo deck. And it looks like that's what they're doing. Natural Order attracts a... No, wait. Is this just another Green Sun? To get another Badger Mole Cub. Yeah, maybe I should have attacked. Maybe it was free to do. Because I don't know. They're going to wake up that land. And now their mana production is 8. More mana. Wirewood Symbiote. Oh, because they're on like elves? Elves? Interesting. I haven't seen this card in a while. This is a good card. So Toxic Deluge is going to be very good against their deck, as is Bowmasters, if he would be so kind as to show up. Okay, but they don't have good attacks. Well, they don't have any attacks because they're summoning second. All right, don't be land. Oh, that's actually a good card. So they don't have uncounterability. So if they do go for like a big play, can punish it. I think this is probably just Baleful Strix and Nethergoyf again and get my attack on. Let's Strix first and see what we draw. Because this does deter their aggression a little bit. Like I'd love to find a push just to take off Badger Mole Cub so they can't natural order for a huge amount, but I do have force for Badger Mole Cub. Draw trigger. Okay, just another land. I am going to fetch a swamp here and just play another Nethergoyf. And I will attack for 2 here. A card that some of these decks have in their sideboard is Choke, so it's nice that I have like so many swamps. Got to get them dead at some point. So they can start doing tricks where they like block and then bounce. This card is really strong. If they have like an Elvish Visionary or something like that, I need to draw my Bowmasters. Gaia's Cradle. Hello, mana. What do you have? Do you have like the mother of all Green Suns? What do you have for us? I have to be very selective about my force here. Alpha Deathclaw. Menace. Trample. When this creature enters or becomes monstrous, destroy target permanent. Okay, well, unfortunately, I don't think we have much of a choice here. I could let it just destroy something, but Yeah, I'm going to hope that their last card is like a land. I guess the main question, I think it's actually better to keep the Brainstorm because that potentially represents two cards. Kaito's not like huge here. Like they can easily kill him on the crackback. Okay, and now the Mother of All Green Suns. Formidable Seeker. You don't have a land to discard, or really any card. So this is just a big dumb body. But you can untap permanents. It's not nothing. Oh, they do have a card to discard. No, wait. No, they can't return it to hand. They're just untapping it. Oh, no, they bounce it back to hand. Okay. So we're going to die. They might actually be able to kill us right now if they have, what's it? Yeah, they just had too much power. They're over there drunk with power with the insane amount of mana they got off their 2 Badger Maul Cubs. Ouroboros. What are we going to die to? Oh, something like that is a heck of a way to die. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, put X +1/+1 each creature, where X is but it gets, everything becomes a lot bigger. They don't really have great attacks because I have a Baleful Strix that'll trade. But they should, okay, or you could not attack. This represents inevitability, and this is right at the cusp of what I can kill with a Fatal Push. It's not an elf, right? A plant worm. Okay, so I might be able to Fatal Push it or snuff it. So we get another turn, which I'm surprised, because if they just Crater Hoofed us, we'd just be dead. And I do think they have the mana for that. Okay, so unfortunately, nothing can be Bowmastered at this point. Let's go ahead and do this. I don't even know what I'm looking for that could save us at this point. Not these cards. But we can't put this back. I think we can put back Bowmasters because, again, it just doesn't do anything here, sadly. We can fetch. Kaito stunning this doesn't even do anything. I think I'm wasting clock, frankly. I just can't imagine us beating this board state. We don't have sweepers main deck. Fatal Push on this would be good, though, if I can find it. Back to Basics doesn't do anything. Will any order shuffle this? Brainstorm, I don't have the mana. I'm just going to concede. Like, I just don't have zero confidence because their entire board grows every turn. And this is, like, I said that, like, the Delver matchup is very favorable. This is a good example of an unfavorable matchup. Snuff House, great. Toxic Deluge, obligatory. I think Back to Basics can come out. Like, they do have basics, and also they have lots of creatures that produce mana. The question is, do we want to bring in Thoughtseize? On the play, I actually don't hate it. Are there any cards here that are just like totally stone dead? Not really. Kaito's pretty mediocre, as we saw, because they can. The problem with Kaito is, like, they just crack back and kill Kaito. But I think it's fine. I do like Thoughtseize because they have like lots of do nothing hands, and they weren't applying any sort of pressure. It's a combo deck, is basically what it is, in the sense that, like, it's just trying to resolve like a combo, which is usually Green Sun for some permanent that like wins the game, or natural ordering for it. And then they just have a bunch of mana that helps you get to that point. Baragoyf is good because he can gain life, but he's actually not that great against their deck, sadly. He's okay. Nethergoyf is a good blocker. I don't think we throw that away. Like, Baleful Strix is quite good. Mockingbird could potentially copy some of their creatures. Actually, Mockingbird would have been a good draw there if we'd found it, because we could have copied their plant monster and just like, oh, sure, we'll grow all our creatures too. And that might have been a good enough stalemate type thing. Yeah, I'm really not sure. I think Tamio is good, though. If we flip her, we can defend, and Tamio Ultimate is a legit path to victory. We need to keep the forces in because they're a combo deck. I actually think that we trim the nethers. Trim the nethers. That sounds so cruel. Okay. All right. This is a Toxic Deluge hand, Snapkeep. So we're just going to set up for a few turns. We'll hope that they don't waste us. I don't think we saw Wasteland. I'm going to Undercity Sewers just to get deeper into my deck. I will save the Fatal Push for after the Toxic Deluge, ideally, unless they just come on so strong that we can't do anything about it. Let's do that. Barry is going to come out after the Toxic Deluge land number 3. We'll keep that. And the key thing is, like, knowing when to Toxic Deluge. Unfortunately, they get all their cards back because they're all, like, it doesn't matter if the creature's dead. The Badger Mole Cub is dead. Like, they still get the thing. Okay, this is great. Play into my board. And don't have natural order for Atraxa, please. I could technically just Toxic Deluge and kill Atraxa. All right, so I have nothing going on here. Do I want to just ponder just to set up something and maybe find a force, actually? Yeah, that'd be good. I'd like to find a force. Another Toxic Deluge. Well, I can't really throw this away just because it's so good in the match. I'll put it on top just in case they have a Thoughtseize, and I'll take the Bowmaster now. And so this means we can re-Toxic Deluge if we need to. I've got Fatal Push up if I need it. Like Badger Mole Cub, even resolving means that they've got that creature for the rest of the game. Guy's Cradle. Of course, this guy. So this is going to wake up a creature. I can push, or I can just let it wake up and hope that Cradle doesn't. Let's see. They'll have Guy's Cradle will tap for an extra mana. So it'll see itself. It'll tap for 4. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think I have to push this with that on the stack. Because they could natural order. No, if they natural order, I'm just gonna let them do their thing, and then I'm gonna wipe the board, and I'll just save this Fatal Push for later. I'm gonna be disciplined. Doesn't matter what they grab, they can't stop me. Like other than a Wasteland, Wasteland would potentially stop. Okay, 4 mana in the pool. What do you have? Formidable Speaker. Go for it. They discard Once Upon a Time, and we're like at a very high life total. So Toxic Deluge is gonna be really good because we can, deluge their hand. They're gonna have something in hand, but they're not gonna have a lot of mana. So Cradle will produce no mana next turn because they won't even have Cradle as a creature. They'll still have it, unfortunately. Because Badger Mole Cub is like super fire design. It's like way overpowered for the mana value. It should definitely have been a 3 drop in my opinion. Disciple of Freely. That's just a land. Return an elf you control. Oh, they could return that. So what they can do is they can play this. They can return this, untap this, and then they can produce like even more mana. I'm going to let them do it. I'm going to hope they go like really far in and that this Toxic Deluge really blows them out. Okay. Which one did they return? Why did they return that one? Why not return this, which you can use? I hope I'm not like playing too dangerous of a game here. Like the Alpha Deathclaw thing costs a lot of mana, but that could blow up my land. And then I wouldn't be able to Toxic Deluge for a turn cycle. Maybe they Formidable Speaker again. Unfortunately, this is every turn cycle. So what I'm going to have to do, natural order. I can't stop it. Do you have the win? They got rid of the creature that I was worried about. Oh, of course they had that. Okay, well, unfortunately, I flip black. Yeah, man, that really sucks. This is Menace Trample. They can't make it monstrous. I think what I have to do here is just push the Badger Mole Cub. Yeah, that really sucks. Elvish Mystic comes out. That was a heck of a turn for them. I don't have another land coming, do I? I think I have a land. No, I do have a land because I was going to shuffle. So, but they can just make this monstrous next turn. Costs a ton of mana, but if they do, it's a big deal. They don't have access to black to make it monstrous, though. And they can actually tap this to untap this. It does makes so much freaking mana. It's crazy. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and just clear Badger Mole Cub because it just dramatically increases the amount of mana they can create. Maybe I needed to clear this. I'm not sure. Leave a comment with the timestamp if you have suggestions for how I could be playing this better. I do want to play it better. So that's the Toxic Deluge. I have a land on top, so I have to just let them hit me, essentially. Like I'm pretty sure I have a land on top, right? I'm pretty sure I have a land on top. If I don't have a land on top, then I'm doomed. They're not attacking for lethal, but they're attacking for enough. Gosh, do I need to play the Bowmaster just to deter them from killing me here? You know what I should have done? During the upkeep, I should have pinged this to deny the mana. Yeah, I think they're going to win now. This is probably natural order or green sun for something huge. It happens. This is the giant thing that makes all the creatures buff. What does monstrous mean? You put 4 +1/+1 counters on it? I am going to trust that I have a land on top, that I'm still going to have enough life that I can kill these things. I just need to go for 7 and I wipe their board. Okay, I'm 8. Oh no, I can't go for 7. I can't. I'm too low. Ah, man, this sucks. Yeah, I think I probably could have played it differently, but I also think that I didn't know what was coming, so I didn't have the benefit of Okay, let's draw the land. It's a fetch, so I'm actually going to have to fetch really low here. Oh, it's not a fetch. It's crazy that I'm like so close to clearing this thing. So close. Would Berry help? It doesn't matter what I do here, unfortunately, because I pay I Toxic Deluge to kill it. Oh man, if this were just not a fetch, I'd be fine. I think I'd probably actually be able to win the game. They still have this, but it wouldn't matter. Good games. Yeah. There's nothing like playing Berry out doesn't save me. They might be able to make this monstrous, but this will just get bigger. I guess I could just play out Barragoyf and maybe gain some life. It's a 4/5. And then that may be enough life that I don't just completely die. But I think it will be death for me. I would love for them to just chill for a turn. But if they make it monstrous, they take another black. I do need another black. I'm not going to concede, but like I think our odds of winning are sub 10% here. And I might be just dead and not realizing how I'm dead. Like if they attack all, I will kill something. They don't have black though, right? Elvish Mystic doesn't change anything. Okay, everything gets bigger. So now I need 8. But if they attack with Deathclaw, I'll definitely trade with that, and then I'll wipe their board. Is this death that I'm feeling? Is this the death that I've been searching for? Okay, you're telling me there's a chance. This doesn't have trample. Oh, does this have menace? Oh, okay, good game. Yeah, that sucks. Okay, well, that was a kind of a humiliating way to end the game. Yeah, I think like that should have gone differently. Like it was exactly Alpha Deathclaw destroying my land and exactly me having like 1 life too little to wipe their board. Like I feel very confident that we would have been able to win that round if I had been able to do what I wanted to do. But like, of course, if things were different, they wouldn't be the same. Like I did lose that one, and it's not like we can say, oh, it's a 4-1 in our hearts. I still would have had to win another match after that, but I felt like the deck performed very well. These green-black decks are like, you're unfavored against fair non-blue decks. So the general heuristic that I frequently repeat, a blue fair deck is unfavored against non-blue fair decks. Because what my deck is doing is trying to be able to beat the storm decks and the oops all spells, which we did beat. But it's also trying to be not totally dead against the fair decks like the Ocelot Pride decks and the green-black decks, which are the main fair decks you're going to encounter in Legacy right now. And then you'll encounter like blue-black tempo and Delver. My deck tries to beat everything basically, but it's as a result, it's like it's 60-40 in some matchups and it's 40-60 in other matchups, but there are no like 80-20 matchups and there are no 20-80 matchups, if that makes sense. Like if you just want to be good against the field, I think this is a really good deck. And I do think that even though we were unfavored in that matchup, like if things had gone just slightly different, we would have been able to win. Now we would have had to win on the draw. Their deck is very powerful. It's got a lot of fire design in it. The fact that Alpha Deathclaw can target lands is really annoying, frankly. But I can understand that, you know, Wizards wants to sell cards. So they're printing like, and Alpha Deathclaw is definitely like a card that was printed for EDH. And almost all the cards that people complain about in Legacy are cards that were printed for EDH, not for Legacy, right? Like the Modern Horizons, in theory, like those cards were just for Modern, right? But a lot of them are also extremely like good in EDH. Like I think they printed Nadu for EDH, right? With that in mind, not with Legacy in mind. So anyway, taking a look at the list, no changes. I like this a lot. I think we boarded in pretty much every card in our sideboard at some point, which is a good indication that our sideboard is pretty well rounded. A lot of people have like random one-ofs in their sideboard and stuff. Like, oh, I need a surgical in case I'm up against, and I'm going to diversify my, sideboard threats. And I totally respect the reasoning behind that. But like one of the hallmarks of my deck design is I just want to have as many copies of the right card as I can, which is why I pretty much max on, like you'll see 4-ofs of pretty much everything, right? I'm not maxing on Baragoyf, but I have been thinking about it. It's so good. Like we saw how good it was throughout the league. And Mockingbird didn't do like everything there, but like I think we won a game because we may have won a game because we were able to mock Nethergoyf. Yeah, I think that happened in round 1. We mocked Nethergoyf, and that was sweet. So yeah, like I love this deck. I love blue-black as an archetype. People complain about how fire design Tamio is. Like this deck will actually be better after Tamio gets banned. That may seem counterintuitive, but Mockingbird, we'll be able to go up to 4 Mockingbirds and we'll be able to play more like Strixen and more Baragoyfs and go even more kind of mid-rangey. The only reason we're playing Tamio is, frankly, you should be playing Tamio in your blue deck. I often play brews on the channel that don't involve Tamio, and I want to be very clear. I'm playing those for budgetary considerations and also fun considerations, not because I don't think you should be playing 4 of her. If you're playing 4 of her, you maximize the likelihood of drawing her, and she just wins you free games, and she's a broken card that I hope gets banned. But until she gets banned, if you're playing a fair blue deck, like strongly consider putting her in there, even though it is kind of icky if you want to win. Like again, if you want to watch my Curiosity deck or some of my mill decks where I'm not playing Tamio, those decks would just be absolutely objectively better if Tamio were in them. But yeah, I hope you know where I'm coming from here. Like I'm unilaterally kind of like handicapping myself by not playing Tamio. And I am unilateral. Like this came up maybe once or twice where like the fact that this was a shock was a pretty big deal. Like in the Delver matchup, like that would have definitely been better as an underground sea. You could even potentially go up to 2 underground seas and go down to 2 swamps. I think that would be a very defensible decision. But I'm not going to go up to 2 watery graves, if that makes sense. So those are the only changes I think that you need to make. I don't think you need to play null rods. I don't think there are any like fancy, like old expensive cards like, gosh, what is a terrible card that people often play against me? That like people just love this card for some reason. Chains of Mephistopheles. That card sucks. All right. But I understand if you spent like $800 for one and you want to play it, right? But yeah, don't play it. All right. I'll leave it there. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.